listening to Unravel with Natalie Denise.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Nightly with Natalie. That is I. That's my name. I hope you guys are doing well. Man, I woke up today and I think I pulled a muscle in my back. I lift a lot of weight. And I don't, the last time I felt a strain in my back, I go to this like martial arts class, and I think I overextended myself doing this move, and I think that's what did it. And then I lifted a lot of weight, so maybe that was it. But I had to go buy some Bengay, some icy hot patches. Actually, it's icy hot patches, and hopefully that'll help. I hate being like out the gym, if you know what I mean. Like I hate like missing workouts because it actually makes me feel good to work out. Anyway, what's going on? February 5th, just as a reminder, February 5th will be the Austin, Texas Save the Texas rally. You guys, if you are in Texas, I highly recommend that you attend this. This is very important for our country, for our state, especially with the gubernatorial elections coming up this fall. This is definitely something you want to partake in. Learn grassroots efforts in different respects, get to know how to fight certain factions of our problems in our society that are in Texas, by the way. So if you're in Texas, please make your way to Austin, February 5th, Save the Texas rally. It's going to be at the Capitol. It's going to be great. I will be speaking, and I'm very excited for that. Anyway, hey, what's up, Keem? What's up, Sophia? Thank you so much for being my mods tonight. I really appreciate your dedication and helping me out. I really appreciate that. Let's see what's going on. My YouTube content, if you guys see, I'm trying to transform it. I'm going to give you guys like a little self-confession here, because I've been so afraid of going like, I guess, sort of going a little, how do I say mainstream, if you will, because I really don't like talking too much about celebrities, but there is so much going on that is actually interesting, and I think I'm finding a method of extrapolating the details of these certain stories that are they do kind of affect our lives. And so I'm kind of trying to do that, like find more things to talk about other than politics and things that are going on. Of course, I'm going to keep those topics on because those are important for sure if they catch my eye. But I definitely want to transform my content where it's digestible to a higher audience. So I just don't want to dumb myself down, if that makes any sense. So that's what I've been struggling with on my time of YouTube. And it's weird because ironically, my channel started off as like a reaction channel. I used to go watch movies and trailers and react to it. And ever since the planned apocalypse hit and people started awakening to all these atrocities, anyway, yeah, so my content is transforming a little bit. But with that being said, what else is going on? Just a message out there for your struggles. I was having a little bit of a like moment today because I'm like, oh, I've been working for so long. I've been working at this for so long. Why is it that other people get this and I stay at my place? But like I have to retrospectively look and see that I've come a long way from where I originally started from. And despite that, now I'm starting to feel like I'm like, what else do I have to do? So I'm always like, I always accumulate a lot of pressure on myself, but I'm my own worst critic. And I have to realize that you are your own worst critic. And I just thought, man, that might be a little message to everybody. And also a good indicator that, things might look up and turn around. Not that I'm doing bad, I'm not doing horrible, but, I definitely think that there are some overdue things in my life. But one key indicator is when haters come at you really hard. And I get word that haters are coming at me, and I tend to just not pay attention anymore, because honestly, it's hilarious how, they will try to find anything to manipulate it on you, and just really try to, mold you into this bad person when you're just like, for me myself, to be honest with you guys, like, I've never been in trouble with the law. I have never done anything salacious. I've pretty much grew up really sheltered, under a very disciplined household. I wasn't allowed to go, like, for instance, I grew up half my life in like a suburb. And so when people move to these suburbs, especially if you come from like a very strict family, you see a lot of these suburb kids, they have the ability to do whatever they want most of the time. Like, their parents let them do whatever they want. And with my family, it was really, really different. It was like, nah, you ain't going out to the movies without us talking to the parents. You're not just going out by yourself. Like, I grew up really sheltered, like very, very protected. And now I look back and I'm really, really appreciative of that, because now it's like they can't get me for anything. Like, these haters of mine, they can't get me on anything, so they have to fabricate something on me in order for, them to easily manipulated people to either turn away from my platform or to also view me in a bad light. And this is a new experience for me, because I really haven't had like a lot of this intense hate before. But I find it amusing, because it's like, you really, even if you try, like, you can't get anything on me because I have done nothing wrong. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys like that, I guess, testimony, because if you are upright, you're upstanding, and you've done nothing wrong, you're blameless, and you know that people are going to make something up on you regardless. You might as well be you. You might as well be who you are, because regardless, people are always going to try to find something to hate on. Monsters is what they are. Monsters. Oh gosh, geez, the only Warnley says, when I hear you speak of haters, I'm like, who in the hell hates Natalie Denise? What is wrong with these people? Bro, they are monsters, Somebody actually text messaged me, and he was like, Natalie, on your podcast, I love your podcast, but I need you to stop saying something. Stop saying that these are patriots that are coming on to other patriots. Start calling them monsters. Start calling them what they are. And so, I mean, gotta be honest with you, for people to manipulate, dox, and do all these things to people, let's call it for what it is. Let's call it for what it is. All right, let's get to the news today. Oh, right. Okay, so in New York City, you guys know that, it's not just New York City. There are major cities out there, and I've covered this before, where you have these like installed judges by like council members that seem to be against the oath they've taken. In other words, they are more about following an agenda more than they are protecting their community. And this is a very illustrated case in New York City. The new DA has come out, or actually the policy was leaked, that, they're going to try to not put people in prison. They're going really light on criminals, basically turning the city into Gotham City. And this is illustrating itself more and more every day. Today, it's reported by the Daily Mail, brazen thieves are strolling out of the stores in NYC's wealthy Upper East Side with bags full of looted goods and leaving shelves bare. One Rite Aid is being forced to close after being hit daily, and small businesses fear they'll suffer the same fate. One Rite Aid is like kind of like a Walgreens or CVS. I'm in the South, so we don't have Rite Aid. We have Walgreens and CVS. So brazen thieves are hitting the same Upper East Side Rite Aid for months, forcing it to close. And now numerous small businesses in the upscale Manhattan neighborhood, where residents say they are on high alert because of rising crime. Gotham City. Once again, this is turning into Gotham City. They're worried about how soon and suffer the same fate after the string of thefts. Shelves are already bare in the Rite Aid store located on the corner of 80th Street and 2nd Avenue because it will shut its doors for good on February 15th, the manager told dailymail.com, a day after a thief was caught on video boldly sauntering out with shopping bags full of stolen goods. We're seeing more of these videos coming through, of people who are, making out with tons of product. I'm talking like retail stores, these pharmacy stores, just anything, grocery stores. People are just really, really emboldened now to just loot whatever they want in bulk. So this happened in one of the wealthiest cities. These criminals know there are no ramifications. We have to put more of these MFers in jail. He fumed to dailymail.com. This is the manager of that Rite Aid store. So the chain announced last year that it was shutting down about 63 stores across the U.S. in the next few years, citing cost-cutting measures to save $25 million a year. But workers say that thefts are part of the reason for the closures as inventory dwindles. Robbery in the New York City has spiked about 33% in the week ending of January 23rd, according to NYPD's most recent data. With 944 incidents compared to 709 incidents reported during that time. Last year, overall crime has gone up nearly 39% with 7,230 incidents this year as compared to last year's 5,211. So crime in the city is just, look at these shelves here. These shelves are bare, and it's not, appended onto the already crisis that we have with the supply chain management system that the residency of Biden has incurred on the United States. Appended to that, they're also allowing these policies, what I would opine to be by agenda. They are intending to do this, I think. And so you see here, this is one of the Rite Aid stores, their shelves completely bare, and completely bare here as well. Mostly a lot of the cosmetic areas as well. Look at this, just completely gone. Everything is gone. And let's just take a video. Let's look at this video right here. I don't think it has sound, but this is just a walkthrough. Everything gone. Could you imagine? Just everything is stolen. And let's take a look at this video of the thief just strolling on out with his goods. Here we go. And look, nobody stops him. Nobody stops him because that's the policy in New York. The policy in New York is just like, let's just let them walk through. Take a look.
Yo, I'm looking at this dude. Yo, this dude is, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Yo, this guy just filled his 2 bags up with everything in Rite Aid right here on 80th and 1st Avenue. He's walking down the street like he's Gucci. Look at me in my face like, what's good? I was watching him the whole time. My man just went Christmas shopping in January. Yeah. He had the condoms, the shampoo.
I mean, just everything. And here's the thing, the reason why that these policies are more lax on the criminals, it's nefarious. But this is why I'm saying, like, I'm always going to reiterate, you guys need to get involved with your local council, local government, and you really got to find out who's doing what here. I have a good friend of mine who is actually really good at doing this in Houston. And she's constantly giving me information about, who's doing what and what's corrupt. But, the reason they give a lot, this is very common in these major cities, is that, these judges are citing reasons like, we need to make sure that they're able, for instance, bail reform. We need to make sure that they're able to obtain bail reform, these bail sentences or whatever, these bails that are put on them. We got to make sure there's equality for everybody. I mean, it's just, it's insane reasoning and logic. It's just plain insanity. Michael Rappaport. You guys know who Michael Rappaport is? Michael Rappaport is actually one of the most progressive personalities online. And he's always going hard on people for not being poked in the arm, for not going along with the liberal agenda. So this is really, really, it is very ironic that he is now commenting on this. This is his tweet. He says, Michael Rappaport, Duke just went Christmas shopping at Rite Aid. I'm tripping this happened in broad daylight like it was nothing. New I Am Rappaport discusses it all. I was just informed this Rite Aid is closing February 15th because of this, leaving the workers jobless. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if there's anything that is uniting us is definitely this residency. I'm not going to call it a presidency. I'm going to call it a residency. That is what's uniting all of us, because now even the most progressive people like Rappaport are starting to see how this manifests out, in the open, how this manifests out, and it really affects people. I mean, legit, this is what it's come down to now. So until it happens to them, it has to be shown. It has to be shown. This is Rappaport, for those if you're looking for a familiar face. So you've probably seen him in viral posts kind of bestowing his angst against conservatives and stuff like that. But like I said, people have to be shown these things. Whew, well, I don't know. This is why I'm saying look at your local officials. All right, next story coming also from the Daily Mail. Spotify will remove Neil Young's music after Joe Rogan, his Joe Rogan ultimatum. So yesterday, if you guys don't remember, I did a story on this on my main channel, Natalie Denise. And I talked about how, rock and roll is not rock and roll anymore. Now rockers are so with the mainstream narrative, people like Zach De La Rocha, who, again, like, listen, if you have a differing opinion, like, I'm not going to come at people like that, but I just find it hypocritical that their music, their lyrics, they say something else like angst and rising against the machine and, raging against it and going against the mainstream narrative. But these rockers nowadays, Foo Fighters, Rage Against the Machine, just various ones, they go along with this rhetoric. And it's like, dude, this is so antithesis. This is the antithesis of rock culture. This is not what this is not what we're about. This is about like angst and rebellion, I would think. I don't know. So, okay, anyway, my little rant. But Neil Young, again, I still need to listen to his music. I said I was going to listen to it yesterday, but I still haven't listened to anything. Neil Young threatened Spotify essentially, and he wrote a letter. I'm going to write an angry letter. You have guys ever seen that movie White Chicks? And the chick was like, I'm angry. I'm going to write a letter. He wrote an angry letter to Spotify, basically giving them an ultimatum. It's either me or it's Joe Rogan. Who are you going to choose? And so he was like, because Joe Rogan talks about like, not getting the poke in the arm and, how he remedies after getting sick and stuff like that. And so Neil Young really had a problem with this. And so he threatened Spotify. It's either my music or it's Joe Rogan. Make your choice or whatever. And Joe Rogan, of course, has hundreds of millions of listeners, so that's their just subscription. It's a subscription boost right there. So, all right. Spotify said challenge accepted, and they got rid of his music. So Spotify will remove Neil Young's music after he demanded it be removed from the streaming service in a blazing row over the poke in the arm misinformation spread by podcaster Joe Rogan. A representative for Spotify confirmed to Variety that the music is expected to be removed later today. We want all the world's music and audio content to be available to Spotify users. With that comes great responsibility in balancing both safety for listeners, and freedom for creators, the representative told Variety. We have a detailed content policies in place. We've removed over 20,000 podcast episodes related to the Coco since the start of the Planpocalypse. We regret Neil's decision to remove his music from Spotify, but hope to welcome him back soon. So it sounds like Neil Young had a stark conversation with his management team, I guess. What an entitled little guy, right? Like, sir, you're not the only person on this world. People have differing opinions, and he really tried to go the cancel culture route, and he lost. So now you don't get a check from Spotify, sir. You know, like you don't get a, and I don't even know his music. You know, like they say he has 6 million listeners to his music. I don't even listen to his music. I listen to oldies, and I don't listen to. I don't remember coming across any of his music. But anyway, okay. Challenge accepted, and yeah, they removed his music. You said to. You said to. All right, more thievery. I actually should have put this a story right after the first one. In Los Angeles, according to the Daily Mail, they are raiding these freight trains. I didn't know that this was a story, but apparently this is an ongoing problem. Look at all this. Look at all this trash. This is from the raid. People are stealing from this is Gotham City. We're living in Gotham, USA. That's what we're living in. Wow. Okay. So revealed thieves who raided the freight trains in LA made off with dozens of guns. Oh, and you guys know that LA is probably one of the most progressive Second Amendment restricting cities in America, in the world. Well, you know, in America, let's just say in America, because the rest of the world is also very restricted on that type of stuff. But yeah, thieves who raided the freight trains, they made off with dozens of guns. So how ironic, they raided and got away with these guns in Los Angeles. Police in Los Angeles have revealed that a cache of guns have been stolen from cargo containers that were left unsecured on railroad tracks earlier this month. People were breaking into these containers and stealing firearms, tens of firearms. LAPD Chief Michael Moore told the Board of Police Commissioners on Monday that gave us a great concern as a source again of further violence in the city as people were capitalizing on the transport of these containers with having little or no policing or security services there. On Wednesday, dailymail.com reached out to LAPD, but the spokesperson could not say how many guns were stolen from the rail depot in Lincoln Heights. She said that the investigation was being handled by the Union Pacific Rail Company, which has not immediately responded to a request for a comment. Moore said police last week arrested 6 people in connection to the spate of cargo heists, which made national headlines after drone images showed piles of debris left behind by bands of marauding thieves. So look at this. This is serious. This is serious. Look at all of this freight that was raided. Boxes upon boxes, miles of, I mean, it looks like miles, but all this product just raided off the trains. This is sad. And he has some bread. He has bread in his hand. Probably seeing what they can find. And this is sad. Ken says, from the stores to the rail yards. Yeah, essentially that's what it is. Isn't that so crazy? So yeah, Gotham City, once again, this is what we're transformed into. People are now forced to like, and and Gavin Newsom wants to make a statement. Oh, hold the presses. Hold on. Let's see what he has to say about this little, Okay.
Asking myself, I see what you see. I see what you've been covering. I see what everybody's seen. Asking myself, what the hell is going on?
You know what's going on.
Like a third world country, these images, the drone images that were on the nightly news day in and day out. Some networks weaponizing them for their own, political agenda, and others just reporting
political agenda
fairly and appropriately. And all I can say is
political agenda. Did he just say that? Let me back it up. He's trying to blame people who are criticizing this as a political agenda. It is a political agenda. You have torn your cities apart for progressive policies. And for anybody who's a voter out there, you voted for this. It is a political agenda. My gosh. Let me play this.
Fairly and appropriately. And all that's going on. And they look like a third world country, these images, the drone images that were on the nightly news day in and day out. Some networks weaponizing them for their own, political agenda, and others just reporting the damn news fairly and appropriately. And all I can say is we need all of us to recognize our collective and individual responsibility to do more and start supporting one another to address these issues.
Guy, please. Did you hear what he said? These shows, they're exploiting this as some sort of political agenda. Sir, what they're doing is exposing your political agenda, that you have done this to your own state. Congratulations, you won. Like, you won your policies. Apparently you won the re-election. Not the re-election, the recall, which was questionable. We can all question that. But congratulations, sir. You have brought this upon your own state. What are you talking about? People are utilizing this, weaponizing this as a political agenda. Of course it's a political agenda because these are attached to your policies. Y'all are going light on crime. Y'all are setting no ramifications for criminals. Y'all are letting people loose on low bail reforms. Yes, this is a political agenda. What are you talking about? Anybody who's in California, this is what you are, this is what you're fighting against. My gosh. Oh, these people, they just make me mad. This is progressive liberal policies like this make me mad because they affect families, they affect people's livelihoods. And, how dare he say something like, oh, it's, you're weaponizing this as like some sort of political agenda. Sir, this, you made your bed. Now you have to lie in it. My good, these people make me mad. They really do. All right, we're going to switch on to the daily traffic, where I bring you the latest in human and sex trafficking news. We're going to start off with Prince Andrew. Apparently, he's going defiant. He has a 41 denial response to Virginia Roberts Giuffre's abuse lawsuit, and he puts him on a collision course with the palace as he demands a jury trial and says Ghislaine Maxwell is not his close friend. Interesting. So if you guys don't know, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who is a Epstein accuser, Ghislaine Maxwell accuser as well. Well, she wasn't in the trial, but she is pinning up two lawsuits, one against Prince Andrew and another against Alan Dershowitz. Now, with Prince Andrew, it's the obvious. She's accusing him of, raping her when she was 17 years old. She was forced to have sex with him, allegedly by Epstein. And for a while there, it looks a little shaky because it's like Prince Andrew and his legal team, they were really depending on the judge throwing out their case for them to not go through this. But now, because the judge was like, nah, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it fly. Now they actually have to stand up and fight against Virginia Roberts Giuffre. So now this is one of the first steps that has been taken, or one of the first actions that have been taken ever since we learned this. Prince Andrew last night demanded a trial by jury as he hit back at accusations of rape and sexual assault made by Jeffrey Epstein, sex slave. In his official response to claims made against him by Virginia Roberts 5 months ago, the Queen's son issued a 41 denials, rejecting all allegations of wrongdoing, but said that a further 40 times that he lacks sufficient information to admit or deny other claims. He also submitted 11 defenses calling for the case to be dismissed, including that Ms. Roberts' claims should be barred by her own wrongful conduct and unclean hands. His decision to go ahead with the case puts him in contravention with the royal family, who sources say are desperate for him to settle and avoid the spectacle of trial in New York later this year during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Excuse me, son, you're going to ruin my party. You're going to ruin my birthday party or whatever anniversary party. I don't even know what the Jubilee is, but earlier this month, the Queen actually distanced herself away from her son although she stood by him ever since 2019 with when a lot of this stuff really heated up, they actually distanced themselves away from him a few weeks ago, basically saying, you got to foot your own bill for this trial. You are stripped of all your titles, including His Royal Highness. You can't call him that no more. Basically saying, you know, don't attend our parties no more either. Like, you know, they're really distancing themselves. It's really funny and convenient timing because, again, she stood by him ever since there was a big allegation back in, when was it? I think it was a 2019, or maybe it was a 2020 BBC. It was 2019. 2019, he made a BBC interview that really just like pulled his pants down because it was like he told on himself. So a source said Andrew is on a collision course with the palace over this. Earlier this month, the Queen swiftly and ruthlessly forced Andrew to step down from his remaining royal patronages and demanded to fight the case as a private citizen. So he hadn't really responded since then, but now he has to. Now he has to respond. And this is one of the first. So anyway, we'll see what more this brings, what more news this brings. But yeah, this is we'll see what this has. What's going on, Johnny? What up, what up, what up? Ahoy, ectoplasm. Awesome. Okay, so let's pivot on to the next story. Okay, this story is frightening. This is a frightening story. This is coming from the Daily Mail. This woman in Texas approached a mother at checkout and basically told her, I want to buy your child. And the mother thought she was kidding. She thought that she was just, you know, being, I don't know, funny or whatever, but this woman was serious. She really wanted to buy her son. And the details just get more and more horrific as to, you know, what transpired. So coming from, oh, why did it load this way? Why is it like this? I don't understand. All right. Anyway, I'll read it like this. I don't know why it transformed into this weird fitting page or whatever. So a Texas woman has been arrested after she approached a mother at Walmart, tried to buy her baby. Rebecca Taylor, 49, was at a store in Crockett, Texas, when she approached the mother. The mother said that she was at a self-checkout with her baby and a 1-year-old when Taylor approached her. Taylor remarked that she liked the baby's blonde hair and blue eyes and asked how much he cost. The mother laughed off the remark, but Taylor then said she had $250,000 in her car. This is the woman right here. If you're in Texas, this is the woman right here. Continued on. I hate the way that this is. I hate the way that this shows right here on this website. Let me see if I can quickly get this. Texas mother. $49. Can I get this pulled up? I don't think so. Okay, here it is. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, now it shows. I don't know why it shows the other way like that. Okay, so now Taylor did not, and according to the affidavit, she had been wanting to purchase a baby for a long time. She told the mother. She offered her $250,000. She had been charged with the sale or purchase of a child, which is a third-degree felony in the state of Texas. She faces up to 10 years in prison if convicted and a fine of $10,000. She was released on Thursday from the Houston County Sheriff's Office on a $50,000 bond. That's right. This woman is out on the streets after trying to purchase a child at one of the most visited grocery retail stores. So she's out here just approaching people, wanting to buy their child. She was let off on bond. I feel like there is more to this story. So let me actually look this up on NBC because this is where I first looked it up. And I really want to capture every single detail. NBC, BC, Texas woman. Ice child. Texas woman. What was it? Let me try to bring this up really quick. Sorry for my little search scapade here. But I want to make sure that I get every single detail of the story because I think it's important because, you know, who doesn't shop at Walmart? Can't shop at Walmart without getting approached to buy your child? My goodness. All right, here it is. Texas woman has been arrested last week. This is the same story, just a different context because it's coming from NBC News this time. Rebecca Taylor was arrested Tuesday, charged with the sale purchase of a child. Taylor allegedly approached a woman who had her baby in a car seat and a 1-year-old son in a shopping cart at a self-checkout section of Walmart in Crockett, about 120 miles north of Houston. Taylor allegedly commented that the woman's son's blonde hair and blue eyes and asked how much she would purchase him for, according to the probable cause affidavit obtained by NBC News. The mom tried to laugh this comment off, thinking Taylor was joking. Taylor told her that she had $250,000 in the car and she would pay that much for him. The mom told her no amount of money would do, the affidavit said, as any good mom would say, right? The mother told Taylor to stay away from her son. Taylor said that he was perfect. He was a perfect fit and had been wanting to buy a baby for a long time. What a crazy lunatic. The mother told police that Taylor was with another woman. So Taylor had a sidekick, a co-conspirator, who asked what the child's name was, but the mother did not disclose the name. Somehow the affidavit says Taylor and the other woman knew the child's name and they began calling him by his name. I knew there was more to this story. This is gross. Oh, how creepy is that? Y'all, listen. This is why I always advocate, like, know what you're posting on social media with your kids and like where you're at, because these predators are looking at everything. They're looking at the background. They're looking at the details. Oh, she took a picture right by this, cafe or whatever. What's behind there? Where can we locate this cafe? Okay, so she lives around this cafe. This is how they look. How did this person know her child's name? How? So somehow the affidavit says Taylor and the other woman knew the child's name and began calling the child by his name. How creepy. I couldn't imagine what that felt like. I bet you she had like a chill down her spine because that is creepy. The mother waited for the two women to leave the store behind before heading towards her car. In the parking lot, Taylor allegedly began to scream at the mother, saying if she wouldn't take $250,000 for him, she would give her $500,000 because she wanted him and she was going to take him. Once in the car, Taylor stood behind the black SUV next to the mother's vehicle. Taylor kept saying she wanted the child and would pay $500,000 in cash for him. This woman is out on her streets right now. This woman is out on the streets right now, trying to purchase this child, knew this child's name, tried to lure the child in. This woman is out on the streets right now. Police had surveillance footage from the store matched the mother's account. The officer who wrote the affidavit went to Taylor's residence to question her about the incident. She told me that she doesn't like thieves. She stated I could speak to her with her attorney to get her off the precipice. She slammed the door shut, the affidavit said. According to jail records, as of Thursday, she was bonded out of Houston County Jail. Efforts by NBC News to reach Taylor for comment were not immediately successful, and it was not clear if she had retained an attorney. If convicted, she faces a minimum of 2 years in jail and a maximum of 10 years under Texas Penal Code and could face a fine of up to $10,000. This is so sick. This is nauseating. I'm not a mother, but this is nauseating for me to read. Could you imagine? Maya says, if there's anything I can do to support the coalition in Northern Michigan, I would be blessed to support. I've been researching trafficking. Hey, Maya, if you haven't signed up, we do actually need your help. If you haven't signed up, go to countertraffickingalliance.com. Let me do I have that banner? If one of my moderators can put that up, www.countertrafficking alliance.com. I actually need to reach out to some new volunteers because we need extra help. I just haven't had a lot of time to spare, but that's the next effort. I actually do need to reach out to more volunteers because we do absolutely need people to volunteer. We need research volunteers for validating resources in different states and counties. For instance, we need food resources, we need shelter resources. So especially if you're in Michigan, you could help out with that for sure. So if you would please sign up at countertraffickingalliance.com, and I'll look out for your name, Maya, and I will reach out to you and assign you to that research. And it would be wonderful if you could get involved. And anyone out here who's listening, if you could get involved, this would be somehow you can get involved. So thank you for asking. All right, let's move on to the next story coming from KTVL. Devices are seized after a search warrant reveals evidence of child pornography. This is in Oregon. Tuesday morning, authorities discovered multiple images of child exploitation that were uploaded from a residence in the 1000 block of Plumtree Lane on the outskirts of Grants Pass. The Southern Oregon Child Exploitation Team Joint Interagency Task Force, alongside Josephine County Sheriff's Office, detectives served the search warrant this morning after the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received tips that kickstarted the investigation. During Tuesday's search warrant, digital devices were seized and will be forensically examined by the Southern Oregon High-Tech Crimes Task Force for further evidence of child exploitation, the press release reads. Investigations are ongoing as detectives are interviewing possible witnesses, involved parties. All right. So again, happening in every single state, every single state, it doesn't matter, every walk of life, it's affected. Awesome. I'm reading the comments. That's why I said awesome. All right. Next story coming from ABC7WJLA.com. Afghan refugee is convicted of sexually assaulting a 3-year-old girl at Quantico military base. That's right. In Alexandria, Virginia, a federal jury has convicted an Afghan refugee of sexually assaulting a 3-year-old girl at Quantico Marine Corps base where he was housed. Tariq was arrested in September at Camp Upshur in Quantico after Marines observed him fondling the girl who was not related to him above her clothes and her private parts. According to court papers, Tariq tried to explain through interpreters that his conduct was acceptable in his culture. Efforts to have his statement suppressed were rejected by the judge. Tariq was brought into Virginia after working alongside U.S. troops in Afghanistan, is scheduled for sentencing April 26. 3-year-old girl. I'm glad Marines, I could only imagine what Marines wanted to do when they saw that, but he said it was acceptable in his culture. So he was, this is why he did that. Assaulting a 3-year-old little girl. It's disgusting. It really is. This is so pervasive and deteriorating our culture. My goodness. Well, guys, that is the news for today. Thanks so much for tuning in to my podcast, my vodcast, if you're watching me on video. For those that are listening on audio podcast, please rate my podcast 5 stars. I really appreciate your rating there. And tell somebody about this podcast. Not a lot of people know the alternative news, so I would appreciate the word of mouth. It really helps me out. Thank you all so much for your support. To my moderators, thank you so much for modding for me tonight and sharing my links. I really appreciate it. And thank you to Facebook and to YouTube who watch me on the respective platforms. I appreciate you all. I will catch you guys tomorrow. And I think I'm going to start doing a Patreon where if you want to support me, you guys will have the ability to call into the show every Friday. if you're on Patreon, and we could discuss whatever, hits your curiosity. So I think I'm going to start that in the upcoming days. So if you want a way to support me, I will be coming out with the Patreon where you can, one of the tiers is you can call into the show and we'll discuss whatever you want to discuss. All right. With that being said, thank you so much for your support. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Sayonara. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Unravel with Natalie Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.